House, at the end of the day, what could all of this mean to everyone's premiums? This impacts more than just the 5% of individual plans we're talking about. Joining me right now to talk more about that is Wendell Potter, who has been a healthcare industry whistleblower after running communications at Cigna, but also has a deep knowledge of dollars and cents of the business. He's also the author of ObamaCare, What's in It for Me. Also joining us is Jamie Court from Consumer Watchdog. Good to see you both. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Maria.
So as we await any information from these insurance CEOs at the White House, Wendell, let me get your take first on the change that we heard yesterday. The president said, with the insurance company's help, you can keep your plan. And how do you think this plays out?
I think some of the insurance companies will look at this as a good deal because a lot of these policies are profitable for them, and they didn't really want to stop offering them. And so I think we'll see some takers on this. I think others may not. At the end of the day, it's a business decision for them. They'll be looking to see what the profit margins are on these plans that have been discontinued, and if it's efficient for them, I think they'll get back in touch with their policyholders and say, if you'd like to stay with us for another year, you can do that. Others will say, they're concerned about what this will do to the exchange pool, and I think some may say that it might destabilize it. So you'll see mixed reactions, I think.
Jamie, what do you think? And can they really make this change, recalibrate within 30 days?
Well, I think they can do anything they want. We had two health insurers in California, Anthem and Blue Cross, who didn't give proper notice, and they've been forced to extend for another 90 days. But it's difficult, and it's difficult because these are like big ships. They don't turn very easily. We were told by Blue Cross it takes them 30 days to send out a letter. The real issue, though, is that the insurers are holding the cards. It's really up to them whether they stop the cancellations and let people keep these old plans. And the thing is, under the ACA, under the Affordable Care Act, the one thing that was forgotten was rate regulation. The cost to the consumer was never a factor. So in half the states, there's rate regulation. In the other half of states, the insurance commissioners have absolutely no say over what the insurance companies charge. So I think a lot of these insurance companies are likely to say, we'll continue them, but we're going to continue them at a cost. And that may wind up driving people to the exchanges. And I think for people who have subsidized policies, there's only one answer. They have to go in the exchange. That's about a third of the people who've been canceled. They're going to get a better deal because if they go to the exchange, they get the federal subsidies to buy the health insurance.
But is it going to be much more expensive than they thought it would be?
Well, it's already more expensive.
Than their prior plan.
That's the problem. I don't really think cancellations are the issue. I think the problem is consumers in California, we had 1 million people get a notice that says you can't keep your plan. And by the way, in 2/3 of the cases, the plans you're going into cost more, and we're not sure you're going to be able to see your doctor. So the two things that the president really has to focus on is not the cancellations, but it's getting the premiums under control and making sure that doctors and hospitals that were in these past networks are in future networks. I think the public would be a lot less angry and really wouldn't care about moving over policies if everything was more comparable, if the price was more comparable and the networks of doctors and hospitals were more comparable.
What do you think, Wendell?
Well, I think, for one thing, Jamie's correct. The insurance companies, if they do reinstate these policies, there's no guarantee that the premiums will be the same. But one thing that people really need to know is that once the exchanges are up and running and working correctly, people can then determine whether or not their policies, even if they can't stay in them, if it's a good deal. Most people will be able, I think, to get a better deal, get better coverage at a lower premium. They just need to be able to figure that out.
What would you call victory from today's meeting? We're waiting to talk to some of those insurance CEOs who are in there with the president right now. What would make this meeting a success?
It depends on who you would want the victory to be for, and I'm hoping it'll be for those who are uninsured or who are facing their policy cancellations. Again, the insurance companies will look at this from their own business perspective, and I think some of them will say this can be a win for them. Others will just say it doesn't make any difference. But I think that they will ultimately decide that they can offer these and also offer other policies that could be a better deal. So that is probably what I hope the outcome will be.
What about you, Jamie? What do you think?
Look, I think that the insurers and the So I don't think anything is going to come out of this meeting that's going to change the frustration Americans face with the Affordable Care Act. I think the only thing that's going to change it is when states start to pass tougher laws to regulate health insurance rates. We've got a ballot measure to do that in California, like we've done with auto insurance, where premiums have actually gone down over the last 25 years because we have tough regulation. We want to extend it to health insurance. And I think the president has to focus on actually being a little tougher on the insurance companies in the states, getting better laws to protect access to bigger networks of doctors and hospitals, and making sure insurers aren't going to charge too much for the policies, because without premium protection, the insurers will charge whatever the market will bear. I think the exchange plans may be better plans, but they're certainly more expensive in many places. And what consumers care most is about getting decent coverage at the best price, and at least half the states are not getting that today until we fix the laws.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Great analysis. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.